Talk Nation, welcome back everybody. It's your boy RealTalkLivesports, aka the Ghetto Stephen A, man, and we back at it. CANELO Alvarez, Caleb Plant, drama. We all heard the PED quote unquote controversy about Oscar Valdez, the Canelo camp, Team Canelo. Canelo Alvarez already had stipulations in the past about him eating bad tacos. Caleb Plant made a fantastic point. You know, made over $100 million in the sport of boxing. Sport of boxing treated you very well. So how is some rando taco stand you eating bad meat, especially tainted with quote unquote, let's just say PD.
You're not gonna say steroids.
Now check this out, fight fans. In the game of boxing, it's been plenty of controversy in the past about fighters taking banned substances just to get an edge. Boxing is a dangerous game. You can die in the ring. So if you have to get an edge to get a leg up on your opponent, it says a lot about your character and also your talent. So if you are taking banned substances to get an edge, maybe you're not as great as the fans, the media, and your peers believe you to be. Now, Canelo Alvarez is pound for pound probably the best fighter in the world. If Canelo chooses to take that path, the banned substance path that is, along with various team members, ultimately it's on them. Because if they're not signing up for VADA, which is the most stringent testing as far as PEDs in boxing, that also says something about your caliber and your status of a boxer, as a boxer, excuse me. Now, Canelo Alvarez is a very talented fighter. Ever since his loss to Floyd Money Mayweather, you've seen his, not only his career, but his fighting style transformed literally like night and day. He's become more defensively sound. He already offensively was a pretty explosive fighter. And through the years and through the fights that he has had since that fight, he's further developed his skill and his craft. Now, if you choose to take a substance to make you sharper, to make you stronger, basically put a little more fuel in your tank, like I said, that's on you. Now, whoever you face as far as your opponent, if you're not being vocal just because you want to get that payday, that's also on you. Because if you are truly, let's just say, worried about your opponent taking banned substances, you have to voice your opinion. Not only will your fans support you, but also the media. Because if you are quote unquote, you don't even have to be a big name, but if you're fighting a big name, that spotlight, and attention is going to be on you and on that upcoming fight. So that will force and put fighters in a situation like, you know what, hey man, I got to get tested. With COVID going around, you know what I'm saying? So many fighters are getting tested, so you should pretty much be used to getting drug tested, period. So Canelo Alvarez facing Caleb Plant is a super explosive fight. Caleb Sweet Hand Plant, very talented fighter, you know what I mean? I think between the two, I said this before, Caleb Plant, he lacks power between the two. So I don't see why Canelo Alvarez has to go that route, supposedly. You know what I mean? He's already the stronger fighter between the two. So it's going to come down to skill and game plan. Canelo Alvarez, you've seen him developing, you know what I mean, that right hand for that killer power shot. He already knocked out pretty much, I ain't gonna say all of his opponents, but he's knocked out some notable names in the game of boxing. Highlight reel knockouts of Amir Khan, you know what I mean, Kovalev, Rocky Fielder. I mean, I ain't gonna say the list goes on, but the list does go on. Caleb Sweet Hand Plant is not known for having knockout power. And truthfully, I don't believe that he has to have that power to defeat Canelo Alvarez. He just has to have a brilliant game plan, and he has to box Canelo extremely well and utilize and stick to his game plan and utilize his distance, his speed, his timing. He has fast hands. He throws great combinations. I believe he's going to have to further develop his footwork in order to stay out the way of those power shots. And also, Canelo Alvarez is extremely aggressive and efficient at going to the body. If Caleb Plant can stave off most of the body shots that will be thrown in that fight and keep his distance as well as execute his own offense towards Canelo Alvarez, he has a great chance of beating Canelo Alvarez. Now, the tricky thing about this fight is if the fight goes the distance, Canelo Alvarez possibly can get the nod. So Caleb Plant is going to have to go into this fight, and he's going to have to fight extremely well. The fight is going to have to be decisive. He's going to have to really put hands, those sweet hands, on Canelo Alvarez. We are going to have to see a side of Canelo Alvarez, that we're not used to seeing, and that's Canelo Alvarez hurt. That's Canelo Alvarez bleeding. So if Caleb Plant can hurt Canelo Alvarez, if he can manage to get a cut on Canelo Alvarez, he's going to have to focus on that. He's going to have to damage Canelo Alvarez in this fight. If he can do that, his chances grows exponentially. Now, with him being so vocal, I'm pretty sure that he's going to, pretty much make sure that this fight gets tested, by VADA. And if it doesn't, that's going to make me wonder a little bit. For Caleb Plant to take this fight, I'm sure that he possibly is going to have to agree to certain things because Canelo Alvarez is the A-side. I told you guys. Being an A-side fighter in a fight, it has power. It does have weight. And if you're quote-unquote pound for pound the best fighter in the world, you have just that more on your side. But if you're an opponent, what you're going to do? You have to go in there, and as I said, you're going to have to utilize your game plan, execute your game plan, and if you're as talented as you say that you are, you're going to have to go in there and get it done. And I hate to say it, but Caleb Plant is going to have to take risks. He's going to have to take chances, as well as be careful. But it's risk versus reward. You're going to have to go into this fight, be smart, but at the same time, calculate your decisions as far as your offense in the ring, because Canelo Alvarez, despite whatever we may think, he's a very intelligent fighter. He's very intelligent. PEDs, they enhance your physical performance. Now, as far as your mental prowess and your mental aptitude going into a fight, I really haven't heard of taking a substance really elevates your brain activity. Allow you to think sharper, faster than your opponent. Because in boxing, you already have to do that. Boxing is a very mental sport. The physical aspect of the game is prevalent, is right there in your face, but at the same time, you have to be smarter than your opponent. Look at Floyd Money Mayweather. He's probably one of the best defensive fighters of all time, but Floyd Mayweather is a very, very intelligent fighter. That is what carried Floyd Money Mayweather, through his fights, his smartness. Floyd is very smart, And if you mix that with being defensively sound and being a great counterpuncher, because Floyd isn't known for his power, but any fighter, if you sit on your shots, you can hurt somebody. Easy. Now, Canelo Alvarez going into this fight, in my opinion, not only should he be clean, but if he just utilizes his natural gifts and his mental intelligence going into this fight, he can defeat Caleb Plant along with any other fighter, period. He is not undefeated. He has been defeated in the past. Besides that, there's been some fights, the Lara fight, that people believe that, he should have another loss on his belt because of that fighter. Now, Golovkin is another one. It's pretty much a reason why he didn't choose to fight Gennady Golovkin again, because in my opinion, Golovkin does have his number. Just like it took Marquez all those fights to finally get Manny Pacquiao's number, I believe it will be the same thing as far as Canelo Alvarez. If he fought Gennady Golovkin again, eventually Golovkin is going to have Canelo's number. He's going to catch him with a shot. He's hurt him in the past. But this time around, Triple G, if he did fight Canelo again, he could possibly hurt him and stop him or knock him out. That's my opinion. But Caleb Plant doesn't possess that same power that Golovkin has. That's why coming into this fight, he's going to have to box brilliantly. If he does that, It doesn't matter what Canelo is on. It doesn't matter because he can outpoint him. And like I said, if the fight goes the distance, he just has to make sure that he beats Canelo up throughout the duration of the fight. I don't see Caleb Plant taking too many risks the first couple of rounds of the fight. No fighter really does that. You know what I mean? They kind of feel each other out the first couple of rounds. It's very few fighters that come out from the start of the opening bell just willing to execute their offense. Most notably, the first one that comes to mind that I could think of is rising welterweight superstar Jaron Boots Ennis. He said himself, he doesn't care what his opponent does. His opponent has to stop what I'm going to do. So from the start of that bell, Jaron Boots Ennis, he gets in there and he gets at it. And I respect that. And that's how it should be. If you are fighting a great opponent, he has to elevate his game in order to defeat you. That is what Caleb Plant is going to have to do. He's going to have to elevate his game in order to defeat you. If he's able to do that, and if he does do that, then it's going to be a wrap for Canelo. He's going to be dealt another loss. Talk Nation, stand up. It's your boy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do your blessed and stay humble, stay motivated, stay focused, be safe at all times, protect yourself at all times.